Thank you to everybody who's watching on the replay. You know by now the deal. Every time I go live, I just spend a couple of minutes at the beginning quickly inviting and making sure that people who wanted to see the broadcast have been invited and that it's been shared into all the places where people might want to consume the content. So if you just give me a couple of minutes, if you're in here already, thank you very much for joining. I'm just quickly going to share this broadcast out. Appreciate all of you jumping in. This one is specifically for tradespeople, so it's fitters, installers, people like that. So I'm just going to do the quick shares. If you're in already, please do hit the share button down at the bottom there for me. Let's get this message out to as many people as possible. Just quickly do a couple of invites. Some of the content that I'll be talking about will not be specific just to tradespeople, but specifically this one is for tradespeople, so people who are doing installs, fittings, things like that. So if it's a product that you take and you fit at people's places, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about a little bit today on this broadcast. So if there's anyone you know who fits that description, share this with them, tag them below, or hit down at the bottom, you can hit share and then invite people. Just quickly do the last share over here and then we will kick off with what the video is all about. This is actually from a specific request as well that I've had in today. Someone asked specifically for the trade industry, how do they go about really wowing customers and building that loyal customer base and all of the things that come with the types of marketing and what they can do in person as well as online. So if you just give me 2 minutes, I'm going to fire this out. So that's now shared. So tradies, fitters and installers is today's topic. How to really wow customers and to impress from the word go. So if you're somebody who installs and fits products for customers on location, so you're going to their houses and you might be installing, it might be an internet service, it might be gas, it might be plumbing, it might be electricals, you might be fitting garage doors, fixing windows, all of those kinds of things. It's really, really important to consider a whole range of different aspects. One thing that you really need to consider is that everything that you do with that customer, every engagement plays a role in how they would see your would perceive you and how whether or not they're likely to recommend you specifically to other people. So with this, if you think through the customer journey for someone who is purchasing a product that needs an install, these are the things that you need to consider. There's already an interaction. The customer generally, if you're doing an install, has already made an inquiry or made a purchase. For a lot of people who are doing installs, they might have purchased beforehand and they're then having the install done, whether it's laying carpets, putting in pipes, putting in electrics, whatever that is, there's usually already been an interaction and an engagement, so they know about you or they know about the company, and this is the main part, is they already know about the company that's coming to install. The most important thing is the person going in to do the install has to follow through with the nature of what the company is about. And so those interactions that you have, it might be that you ring before you go to deliver on site for that customer, and when you go to do that call, a really big piece of advice for you here is you can actually hear in someone's voice whether they're smiling or whether they're not. So for me personally, I do a lot of travel. I'm in the car and I'm like, if somebody rings, it'll be that I actually scream at the top of my voice, because that forces me then to laugh at myself and I have a smile on my face, and then when I pick up the phone I say, how can I make your life easier today? That little interaction there has already put you on a good footing for building a relationship with the person that you're going to see. The other thing is, be as specific as you can about the amount of time. Set an expectation for when you will be arriving. So once you set that expectation, people then understand and they're not there's no, oh, we might be there in half an hour. Work out how long it is, look on the sat nav, allow a little bit of time if you're traveling to someone in case of any emergencies. It's better to say slightly longer and be earlier and wow them that way than it is to say I'm going to be there in 15 minutes and then have to be a few minutes late for that. So have a little think about that. How you speak, that's all to do with a lot of your physiology, how you hold yourself, whether you're in a happy mood when you go to have those phone calls. All of that can be perceived, picked up on the other end of the call. So that first call that you make as the installer gives that person impression what you're like as a person, and that is your first impression. Super, super important. When you arrive at the door, it's important that you're congruent with how you were on the phone. You need to be happy, cheery, you need to be helpful. The more information you can offer every time you engage with that customer, the better it is for everybody. You're helping them to understand what's going to happen. Even things that you take for granted that just happens, try to explain as many things as possible to help that person. They feel like you value them. One thing that I would highly recommend if you're a fitter and installer representing a company when you get there is that you actually need to make those people feel like they're really, really important. So it's not about the fact that you are grateful about the specifics of the sale of the product. What you need to do is, as someone going to install it, really puts people in an interesting place when you say to them and you express how grateful you are that they've decided to use your service. So you actually you show a level of gratitude. You need to arrive with an attitude of gratitude when you go to speak to these people. Super, super important. When you do that, actually, now this person, you see what we're doing is we're shifting the focus away. It's not about the price, it's not about the product, it's not about the company. It is all the focus is on the customer. Now that's what you need to retain throughout everything. So when you spoke to them, being happy, it's not for you, it's for them, so that they have this perception that this happy person is coming to do their install. Then when you get there, showing them that you're grateful for their custom or choosing you as a service provider to them. Have to be grateful. Gratitude breeds this air of appreciation on their side as well. So being grateful, being very explanatory, giving them as much information as you possibly can when you're doing the job. Before you do anything, explain what's going to happen, then go through the process and make sure that you're attentive and you give them as much feedback as possible. One of the reasons for this is actually this person has already made a purchase or has already placed their order, but what you need to consider is this person, as I've said before, can be a brand advocate for your business. They can go out and you don't know how many people they know who need your service. So the better relationship you can build with that person, whether it's a phone, whether it's a follow-up with an email or another call to check how the service was, all of those interactions need to make them feel super special. When you wow those people, they will become advocates for you and will talk about your business and recommend you to other people. And we all know that word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing. Social media and online digital is actually a brand amplification of those personal recommendations. Social proof, the little thumbs up, the hearts on Facebook, likes on Twitter, whatever it is anywhere on digital becomes social proof. When people go on and they say, had a fantastic service, reviews, why people go to TripAdvisor for accommodation and things like that. Obviously, there's also sites relating to the trade industry. So if you can get people to give you feedback, Facebook is a big place that people are looking at stuff. So they actually, if you have a business page there, it's really easy actually. Once you've had that wow, so you've wowed them before you've arrived, you've wowed them and shown gratitude when you got there, you've been super helpful and given them a lot of information while you've been doing the install so that they feel comfortable, they feel safe, they feel like they're informed and they know what's going on. And then when the install is done, make sure that you check in with them again. Make sure that you met their expectations. Answer any questions that they have before you leave. And again, when you leave, the last thing you want to leave that person with is that attitude of gratitude that you've got for them, choosing you, choosing your service, choosing the company that provides you with a means and a living. So super, super important all the way through that process to do all of those things. Be happy, be informative, be grateful. That is the key to it. And what that will do is it will lead to recommendations, it will lead to sales, and it will lead to people coming back, and there will be positive feedback from the people that you've had. I would always recommend after you've done an install or you've done a site visit, always follow up, and try to follow up within a short time frame. 24 to 72 hours is the ideal time frame, so it's still fresh in the customer's mind, because we know our lives are getting busier and busier by the day, and that interaction there afterwards just shows that you care. Everybody wants to deal with a human. They want to deal with someone who's a real person, who understands that everyone has feelings and emotions and cares about them. So just show that you care, interact with them, and make it super easy for them to talk to you and to engage with you. This broadcast, I'm actually not going to do any follow-up and chat on here, because this is actually being used by someone else tomorrow for another purpose. But I will actually finish this broadcast and I will jump back in live in a minute. What I'll do actually instead is I'll actually stay on, and I'm going to leave a little gap, and then I'll answer some questions. I'll jump in and talk on the comments. If anyone's got any feedback or any comments that they want to make, please post them below. Again, if you think someone else could benefit from this, please hit the follow or subscribe at the bottom, and then share this with someone that you think might benefit. Whether you tag them below or whether you share it to them or on your wall, it's up to you. Whichever way works best for you. I appreciate each and every one of you being in here. As always, thank you very much for going through this experience with me. I am here. This broadcast is because somebody asked me a question about the trade industry. Very, very specific. People are going there when they've already got the customer. So it's not about that. It's about building the relationship, moving that relationship to the next level, where they move from a customer who's purchased something to a customer that's happy, to a customer that advocates for your business and recommends you actively to other people. So again, just be happy, be informative, and be grateful. Those are the three keys to moving things forward, from appreciative to advocate, and that then will bring you more business in the long run. I hope you guys have got some value from it. I'm now going to jump in and just do a few hellos and thank yous for everybody who joined. I see Camilla was in here, Brett was in here, Lynn was in here, Sean Thrippleton, fantastic to see you on here, Sharon, fantastic, Mark, Bree, Darren, too good to see you in here, fantastic, Dave Clark, Crystal Kelly, Connor, Ollie Jones, Jamie Borum, hey mate, I can see, who else is in there, Jay Garrett, Karen, fantastic to see you, thanks for joining, Robert Kemble, good to see you in here, Ollie Jones, Robert Kemble, your email is on its way first thing tomorrow morning. I've been on the road from Milton Keynes, so I will get that over to you tomorrow. Mark Evans, thanks for joining, Mum, good to see you in here. We'll have a catch up after this broadcast. Tom from the restaurant. Again, a massive thank you to Tom. We did a hospitality example where we went through business, every part of the interaction with a restaurant. And so I'm going to be doing a recap of that over this weekend. I think it's going to be on Sunday now, because I'm flat out with meetings throughout the day tomorrow after my morning stuff. So I appreciate each and every one of you being in here. If you missed it, if you joined in at the end, please do go back and watch the replay. I always put them back up here, and you can always check them out on YouTube, which is tristangriffiths.com/YouTube. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll catch you on another broadcast very, very soon.